Smoke, fire, meat. A tradition stretching through human history. It calls to you. The question is, how will you answer?
Yes, I can! Yes, I can! Yes!
Quiet down,
Grab
guys.
that down, Mr. Wilson!
Come, shut up.
I can!
Well, I hope you're ready for another episode of the Hobby Rambler. In this video, I'll take you through cooking a Boston butt to make pulled pork, vinegar and pepper style. I've also made a handy recipe and instruction guide that you can download and print out. That'll make it easy to get everything you need at the store, and it's nice to have as you cook. Vinegar-styled pulled pork is a Southern soul food staple. I think you'll really enjoy the distinct flavor, and you'll enjoy how easy it is to make a lot of food for a hungry crowd. At the store, ask the butcher for a Boston butt. Pick one that will fit the diameter of your smoker. I've got the Weber Smoky Mountain 14-inch size, so I can fit a hunk of meat no larger than 11 pounds in there. I'm no expert, but I know for pulled pork, I'm looking for Boston butt or pork butt. That's the cut that I need, and not pork shoulder or picnic shoulder. Thanks to the holidays and the pandemic, I was only able to buy this factory-packaged pork shoulder butt. What the heck is that? As if the terminology wasn't confusing already. Maybe this totally unnecessary talking trivia head can clear it up a bit. The pork butt, also known as the Boston butt, isn't from the butt at all. Oh, no, no, no. Look, here it is from the upper shoulder of the pig. It's well marbled with intramuscular fat, has a fat cap on one side, and is rectangular shape, usually sold with a bone in. The pork shoulder is lower and connected to the leg, is frequently sold with the skin on. It's triangular shaped, and if boneless, it will be wrapped with netting. This cut is better for pork roasts needing crackling, crispy skin. Ideally, you'll want to prep your pork the night before you plan on smoking it to absorb the seasonings. But if you're pressed for time, an hour of chill time will work too. Leave the fat cap on. I like to lightly score the top for a good looking finished product. Trim off any hard fat lines that look like they won't cook off. Anything you don't like the looks of, but don't go overboard at this stage. This recipe calls for using yellow mustard as a binder to make your seasoning stick on and absorb into the meat. Rub it all over. Can't go wrong with simply using coarse ground salt, pepper, crushed red pepper, and paprika. Mix an even ratio and apply generously. This is where you need to take notes on what you added so you'll know what to change the next time. Experimenting is the fun part to get the taste just right. Important note though, if you're using a store-bought rub, check how much salt is in it so you don't add too much and go overboard. Salt in moderation. Now wrap that baby in cellophane or foil and let it sit in the fridge. Let's get those coals going. I like to set a can in the middle of the coal basket and pour coals all around it. Then I pull the can out, leaving a center gap for the hot coals. It seems like that helps the fire to stay consistently hot for longer. You'll know the coals are ready when the outside is turned gray. Don't forget to wrap your water pan with foil, because that's where all the juices will drip. It makes cleanup so much easier. Pop in 2 or 3 pieces of hardwood, and yes, you absolutely have to test click those tongs. Close the coal hatch and the lid to let it heat up. For my small cooker, I leave the top vent wide open and the bottom vents half closed. After 20 minutes, the temp is usually settled between 225 and 250 degrees. The trick is to make small vent adjustments and wait to see how it reacts before making another adjustment. Once you've got it right, put your pork in the smoke, close that lid, and don't peek. Every time you open it, it releases the heat and adds 15 minutes to the total cook time. The temperature in the dome can be drastically different from the core of the smoker. To find the average, I like to keep a probe in the middle too. Remember to support the section you're pressing on so they don't separate and fall over. Now that the smoke is rolling and you've got some time, it's time to make those sauces. First up is the mop sauce. Mix 1 cup apple cider vinegar, 1 cup of beer, cola, or apple juice, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of crushed red pepper. Some people like to add sliced lemons for a zing, and I prefer to bring it to a boil to meld everything together. A pro tip for you, turn on the stove vent fan and open a window. With this much vinegar and red pepper, it will clear your sinuses.
Do not go in there. Woo!
Next up is the clear vinegar barbecue sauce. Mix 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, 1.5 cups water, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of red pepper flakes. It's been an hour, so now it's time to open her up and put that mop sauce to work. This is the perfect opportunity to check on how your coal and wood is burning, the water pan level, and to get an initial thermometer reading. If I need to add more hot water, I found this little watering can works well. Move with a purpose though, you're letting all the heat out.
Close that window, you're letting all the stank out.
Return and mop it each hour. The outside is supposed to be turning brown. That's not burnt, that's bark. All your spices are making magic with the rendering fat to make some serious flavor. Supposedly, the meat will stop absorbing smoke flavor at around 165 degrees internal, so you've got a decision to make. You can pull it off at that point to insert a thermometer probe, douse it with mop sauce, double foil wrap it, and return it to reach 200 degrees and finish cooking. Or, you can choose to not wrap it and keep on mopping hourly. It will get much darker this way and the fat cap will likely turn crispy, but there's nothing wrong with that. Every cut of meat is different and has different needs. If your internal temperature stalls, wrapping it in tin foil is a tool at your disposal to break through that stall. Here's a key point. You're not cooking to time necessarily. You can loosely plan for an hour per pound, but the motto is low and slow for a reason. Fat renders and melts away when it reaches 190 degrees, so give it time in that zone to work. I got a late start on my cook, and we had to leave for a party in the evening, so I pulled it off the smoker once it reached 165, wrapped it up, and finished it in the oven. And that's why I love this style of cooking. It's stress-free and gives you plenty of options. Once it has hit 200 degrees internal, she's done. It needs to rest, which means set it on the countertop for an hour or so. Depending on when you want to eat, you can keep it wrapped in foil, wrap that in a towel, and put it in a small cooler for up to 3 or 4 hours. And when you take it out, it will still be hot. A key indicator that your pork butt is done is the shoulder bone. A little tug and it should come out easily. Save those juices. Claw it apart in a pan or a dish, and once you've pulled the pork, pour those juices back in and mix it together. Now you can add your clear vinegar barbecue sauce or keep it on the side. Smoky, tender, juicy, cooked all day. It was totally worth it. Oh yeah. And you can do this too. And that's it. It's a marathon, not a race. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button down there, and I'll see you next time.